Hey. All right, here we are, week 5. So the first question is, let me make sure I have this back. Um, what would fluency instruction look like if it were strong and systematic? So, um, big things that we saw in the video even
Hmm.
was accuracy, rate, and prosody.
Yeah.
I think they definitely have to include all three of those aspects into it. Um, And then just from previous lessons, just that I do, we do, you do,
Hmm.
and slowly allow the student to um, gain some, well, confidence, first of all, but then independence as well with
Yeah.
the different skills. So,
Yeah. I agree with that. And I think it's what we saw in the video. Um, she started with like she had the goal for the student. It was really clear. She knew
mhm.
exactly what she was working towards and what she was aiming for. And then
Yeah,
when needed, there was the explicit modeling. She practiced orally and she repeatedly read the same text, which is something that the books mentioned doing to get that fluency higher is to just repeat and have that guided and that specific feedback and all the things.
absolutely. And also, I like the idea of the stretch texts
Hmm.
where it's still challenging for the student, but it's not ridiculously challenging where
Yeah.
they lose confidence. And I think that's so easily done with some of these students. If it's too hard, they're gonna give up on not only the text, but eventually themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that goes into what really would the second question, what weakens fluency is like if you pick
Yeah.
something that's so far outside of a student's grasp, like you're just damaging their confidence more than anything. And then
Hmm.
the next time they read, they're not going to do as well as they can because they don't
No,
think they can do it. So picking something that's like, it's not out of their reach, but it's a little bit further, like harder than it has been
hmm,
before, helps them to
absolutely.
strengthen those skills.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely like they said that bridge. Or always to bridge fluency with word recognition and
Hmm.
language comprehension. So,
Yeah.
um, and I think if in the second one, um, another thing that weakens fluency is just overuse of the cold reads.
Hmm.
These students are still trying to figure it out and figure out what these words are and how to say these words and um, doing that modeling before you have the students echo read or read with you. um they need that modeling first.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it was displayed in the video, and I don't remember her name, but the lady, the teacher,
Mhm.
um, she said when you repeat yourself, like you're weakening your skills. So the repetition,
Mhm.
letting students make those mistakes without correcting it and repeat themselves so many times, I mean, they're weakening their skills. I also think I see it a lot in
Mhm.
school where the teachers are like, "Oh, you're done with something? Just read quietly," you know? And so I think
Yeah.
silent reading or just reading by themselves that like it's good and it can be enjoyable, but you're not doing anything for their fluency if that's your go-to to help strengthen if you're trying to do that. Having
Hmm.
them just read without modeling or without the feedback and the guidance, that's not going to do anything for them.
Yeah. And I mean, I go back to just how I learned to read, and it was in that age where, you know, if you're not sure what it is, use, context clues and try to
Hmm.
guess. Guessing was such a big thing to try to guess what the word is.
Yeah.
And now it's like, don't guess, don't
Don't
guess.
guess.
Like,
Please
that's such a
don't.
bad thing. You're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
It's one of those, I turned out fine.
I know.
But
I always
that's a
guess
really
and it
hard
works.
habit to break.
And I see kids doing it still. I've been
Mhm.
one-on-one with a few students who are working on their reading skills, and you can tell they're trying to decode it and they can't do it, so they just guess and move on. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, stop. Like we can do
Yeah.
it together. Like let's figure it
Yeah.
out. Because if they just guess and you let them just guess is really what it is. You're building
Yeah.
the bad habits that you're
Yeah,
trying to avoid.
absolutely. And I think another one before we go on to the third point is um, just focusing so much on pace, like
Hmm.
where you just overemphasize that with the students and you make that such a priority for them just to read
Hmm.
fast where they're not comprehending it.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah,
Yeah. I think there is, at
it
least in
doesn't
the
matter.
beginning, value for a student being able to take it slowly, especially when
Hmm.
they're trying to
Oh
figure
my
it out.
gosh.
So if you're trying to
Yes.
rush them, that's not helping.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay.
All right. So third one, um, how does Madeline Hunter's structure support explicit instruction for word reading? I think it's built into the
That's what
structure
I was about to
itself.
say. It literally
It's
breaks it down for
completely built
you.
into the structure,
Hmm.
through that modeling and I do, um, we do, you do. And
Hmm.
we had actually mentioned last week how there was that you do kind of in between the I do and we do,
Hmm.
just to build up that confidence of the students before they even do it with the group,
Yeah.
and it's just that repetition, in my opinion.
I was gonna say the biggest thing that I could think of is the fact of how frequently you're checking for the understanding with the Madeline
Hmm.
Hunter plan.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
we have the anticipatory set, then you're checking. You do it all together and then we're checking. And then they do it, you're still checking. That
Hmm.
constant checking for understanding where you can give the
Yeah.
feedback and the
Mhm.
practice that they really need. I think it's like
Yeah.
it's just a really good way to work
Mhm.
through it without having to worry
Absolutely.
about when am I going to see how they're actually doing.
Yeah. And then as you're checking all those different times, you're catching any misconceptions or mispronounced words and
Hmm.
helping them through those little tweaks, or yeah, with
Hmm.
those little tweaks, not uh, just coming down on them really hard at the very end when it's already become a habit.
Yeah. And I think at the end, I don't know if you noticed this, there's like the quick summary at the end, like you go over again really
Hmm.
briefly. Hey,
Yeah.
this is what we did today. I think
Tie it all
that's a big
back.
part of like tying it all back in. Don't just
Hmm.
do it and then leave them hanging. Be like, okay, this is exactly what we did today. Now you know. Now I know that you know. And like then
Exactly.
the next time you have the anticipatory set, which is probably going to be review.
Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. I think
Me
we
end
hit it.
this if I can.
Mhm.